there is another market for the shares in your business. At different times, certain types of companies are more attractive to stock buyers than other companies. When a person has a public company, it is often said that it is like having two companies instead of one. One company is for your regular customers, and one is for your investors. Who is on your board of directors or advisory board? The market runs on confidence. If the company has a strong and respected board of directors or advisors, the market has more confidence in the future success of the business. Frank advises, if someone comes to you and says, I'm going to take my company public, ask that person, who on your team has taken a company public and how many companies has he or she taken public? If that person cannot answer that question, ask him or her to come back with the answer. Most never come back. Does the company own something proprietary? A business should own or control something that another company does not. It could be a patent on a new product or drug, a lease of ground in an oil field, or a trademark, such as Starbucks or McDonald's. Even people who are owners and respected experts in their field can be considered assets. Examples of people being assets are Martha Stewart, Steve Jobs when he started his Apple Computer Company, and Steven Spielberg when he formed his production company. People invested in these people because of their past success and future potential. Does the company have a great story to tell? I am sure Christopher Columbus must have told a great story to his underwriters, the King and Queen of Spain, before they raised the capital for him to sail off to the ends of the earth. A great story must interest, excite, and cause people to look into the future and dream a little. There should also be integrity behind the story, because our jails are filled with great storytellers who have no integrity. Do those involved with the company have passion? This is the most important thing that Frank looks for. He says that the first and last thing he looks for in any business is the passion of the owner, the leaders, and the team. Frank says, without passion, the best business, the best plan, and the best people will not become successful. Here is an excerpt from Fortune magazine's article on the 40 richest people under 40. MBAs don't fit into the Silicon Valley scene. MBAs are traditionally risk-averse. The reason most people go to business school is to ensure getting a six-figure job after graduation. Valley veterans look at B-school people and don't see the fire in the belly they themselves had when they were romantic renegades. MBAs look at Silicon Valley and see something far different from what they were taught in business school. Michael Levine joined eBay after graduating from Berkeley's Haas School.
要是不是在 talk show， 我一直都被现实考验。你说我绝对不会成功的，但报都从我随便写的 diss track。我 got 立功之前，有很多 enemy 会 hate me， 玩得快要4年，现在没人会有人 take me。虽然我之前尝试也变得
His Haas School. The former investment banker does not speak with the same passion displayed by hardcore entrepreneurs. He also works shorter hours than most, 60 per week instead of the customary 80. I'd love it if in 10 to 15 years I had $10 million to $15 million well invested, he told me. But I'd like to have a life. I don't know. Maybe I'm not there yet. Rich Dad would say that he was definitely not there yet. Rich Dad often cautioned me to be aware of the difference between successful corporate people and successful entrepreneurs. He would say, there is a difference between a person who climbs the corporate ladder and someone who is building his own corporate ladder. The difference is in the view when you look up at the ladder. One sees the big blue sky and the other sees, well, you know that saying, if you're not the lead dog, the view is always the same. How do you raise money? Frank discusses 4 sources of money. 1. Friends and family. These people love you and will often give you money blindly. He does not recommend this method of raising money. Mike and my rich dad have often said, don't give your children money. It keeps them weak and needy. Teach them how to raise money instead. Rich Dad took the issue of money one step further. As you may recall, he did not pay his son and me a salary for working for him. He said, paying people to do work is training them to think like employees. Instead, he trained us to look for business opportunities and to create a business out of that opportunity. You may recall the comic book story in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, where I discovered that older comic books were being taken off the shelf and destroyed by the store. I saw an opportunity to start a business by saving those comic books and creating a library where kids could rent the comics to read for a small fee and then return them. I continue to do the same thing today. I look around for opportunities to build a business while others look for high-paying jobs. Rich Dad did not make being an employee wrong. He loved his employees. He was just training his son and me to think differently and to be aware of the differences between a business owner and other positions. He wanted us to have more choices as we grew older rather than fewer. We created the Cash Flow for Kids board game for parents who want to give their kids more financial choices and keep them from being trapped in debt as soon as they leave home. It was created for parents who may suspect that their children could be the next Bill Gates of Microsoft or the next Anita Roddick of The Body Shop. The game provides an early financial education on cash flow management that every entrepreneur needs. Most small businesses fail because of poor cash flow management. Cash Flow for Kids will teach your children the skill of cash flow management before they leave home. 2. Angels. Angels are rich individuals who have a passion to help new entrepreneurs. Most major cities have angel groups that support budding new entrepreneurs financially, as well as provide advice on how to become rich, young entrepreneurs. Angels realize that it's important for a city to have growing young businesses. Thriving entrepreneurial spirit in a city will keep the city thriving as well. These angels provide a vital service for any city of any size. Many young people leave small towns to look for great job opportunities in a bigger city. I think that this loss of smart young talent is caused by our schools teaching young people to look for jobs. If our young people were taught to create businesses, many small towns could continue to thrive because they can hook into the rest of the world online. With the internet, it's possible for even the most remote towns to bring the entrepreneur's spirit to life. Groups of private citizens operating as angel groups could do wonders to revitalize small towns everywhere. When you look at what Bill Gates did for Seattle, Washington, and what Michael Dell did for Austin, Texas, you can see the power of entrepreneurial spirit. Entrepreneurs and angels both play important roles in the vitality of a city. 3. Private investors. People who invest in private companies are called private investors. These accredited investors are hopefully more sophisticated than the average investor. They stand to gain, as well as lose, the most. Therefore, it is recommended to get both financial education and business experience before investing large sums of money into private companies. 4. Public investors. People who invest through publicly traded shares of public companies are called public investors. This is the mass market for securities. Because these investments are marketed to the masses, they generally come under great scrutiny from agencies such as the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Securities traded here are generally less risky than investments done privately. Yet, when it comes to investing, there is always risk. This may seem to contradict what I said earlier about having more control, and therefore less risk, as an insider. Please remember, however, that a private investor is not always in control. The SEC requires strict compliance with reporting and disclosure requirements to reduce the risk to a public investor who is definitely not in control of the investment. Frank's recommendations. As I was interviewing Frank on the main points of taking a company public, I asked him what he would recommend for a person who wanted to learn to raise substantial sums of capital. He said, I recommend that a person become familiar with the following sources of funding if they want to take a company public. They are private placement memorandums, PPMs. These should be the start of your formal capital